Welcome to another edition of the Dynasty Pulse, right here on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Talking West Tennessee 105.1 and the Undroppables. I'm bigz. With me is Schultzy, Grindberg, Coach, and Chev, a.k.a. Chev GPT. We're here to talk Dynasty Fantasy Football. I will not be fielding Jackson Dart questions at this time. Producer, hit that button. Welcome to the Dynasty Pulse right here on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We got a big show for you tonight. We're talking stock up, stock down. We got probing questions for each of our analyses. And my Jackson Dart comment, I'm not going to share anything. If you want to know how I feel about Jackson Dart, go back to and start rewatching our old episodes from January, and it will be made clear exactly how much I love that dude. And Thursday Night Football, that he already came out. That's a coming out party. How are you guys doing?
Partay. Premonitions happening. We're doing good, man. It's week 6. It's the warm up, and we're ready to rock. We got a lot of storylines to go over. Chev is stunned. He's perplexed. How are we all doing tonight, Chev? What are you talking about right now? What is going through that mind of yours?
I didn't say anything.
I know.
I do want to address a couple things real quick. Number one, Schultzy is the do fall play. Is that name of that play? Is that catching any traction?
That one has got some steam, but I think the real big winner here is going to be the slip six.
Okay, and then Grindberg is wearing a Toronto Blue Jays cap, and Blue Jays just got rid of the New York Yankees. Thank you, sir. And I know it was all Grindberg. And also it's Canadian Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada.
Oh, merci, monsieur.
Okay. And then Coach, there's not really, he's wearing a plaid shirt and he's got some Christmas lights. There's not really, but I really do hope you're doing okay. And then we got Harding football down there on Chev and the Harding Bison shirt behind him. November 15th, my Arkansas Tech University Wonder Boys hosting Chev's Harding Bison, and it's a great athletic conference showdown, and I invited him to do a show about it.
Jackson Dart rushing prop.
Nobody's going to watch a show about Arkansas Tech versus Harding though.
My mom will.
All right, we got one.
Let's get probed.
I'll tune in. All right. Well, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show, and we're going to start with our first storyline, and it is Jonathan Taylor and his red zone mastery. What an offensive surge for him and the Colts. Well, what a juggernaut. This has been a pretty impressive stat line here, and he's now a top-tier asset like he's been, but he's back in that range where, he's in the Gibbs and Bijan conversation at this point. The Colts offensive line has been awesome. Daniel Jones has been great at protecting the ball, keeping the offense humming. It's opportunistic. The defense, special teams are setting the table for short fields, and Jonathan Taylor is reaping the benefits. Jeremiah, what is going on? Jonathan Taylor showing all kinds of red zone dominance, even without massive yardage. Does he now belong in the elite tier with Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, considering Taylor's proven touchdown efficiency? Daniel Jones's steady play and the potential role shifts of Anthony Richardson in the red zone now. We're seeing a little bit of that spike up. So how do you rank Taylor among these young, high upside RBs long term?
I think you put him right up there, and you can just put him right behind Bijan and Gibbs, and it's not sacrilegious. And this is a run out that I had called when I was high on Daniel Jones, the opportunity in a short area passing game for Jonathan Taylor. and enough of the freeze up on the linebackers where Daniel Jones has a threat to run and to pass. A little bit too much in the offseason, people were tied to, oh, well, it's just going to free up rushing lanes for Jonathan Taylor if he has Anthony Richardson. Plot twist, Jonathan Taylor doesn't need that. It just helps him. So in uncovering another element to his game, I saw the reception path heading his way and being more fruitful with Daniel Jones under center. Now, Jonathan Taylor, he leads the NFL in carries at 94, rushing yards 480, rushing touchdowns 6 through the first 5 weeks. The Colts, this is from NFL Pro. Colts have a plus 18.6% run rate over expected inside the 20. So that's second in the NFL. Part of that is Daniel Jones. Maybe it's a little bit of Tyler Warren, but it is plenty of Jonathan Taylor, and you got to love it. JT leads the league in missed tackles forced at 35. He's fourth. He has 4 rushes, of 20 miles per hour or more this season, so he still got it. JT, just 26 years of age. He's going to turn 27 soon. The Colts have a potential out in 2026, $2.5 million dead cap hit. So the argument prior to the season for Jonathan Taylor to be traded to go to another team would be, well, if the Colts struggled and were bad, right? Well, to Schultzy's chagrin, at least Schultzy isn't living back in Indianapolis anymore because the Colts are tied 4-1 with the Jaguars. And then in the AFC East, in the AFC overall with the Bills, 4-1 for the best record in the AFC. So Jonathan Taylor is not going anywhere anytime soon. Things are looking up. And at 26, look, I think the age apex, we've at least hit the point where that is way over exaggerated. And even if a player is on the back nine of their career, you're at that beginning part of that back nine, you're still in your prime. You're not at hole 13. You're not at even hole 14. JT is still, you want to ring the bell at the top. He's still at the top, and I love where he's at. And 26 years old, don't write these players off. And he was, funny enough, ADP-wise, in Underdog and Best Ball and in Dynasty, you could get Jonathan Taylor if you saw him as the last piece of the tier to the aforementioned Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. Then you were right there. You profited well versus the field because you were getting another positional advantage, or you were doubling up on the Bijan and the Gibbs and maybe getting Jonathan Taylor later. So chef's kiss, love to see it. And I'm all about the propaganda for Jonathan Taylor. Love to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great story because the touchdowns remain king here, and when you got other running backs like the McCaffreys that have the reception upside. Well, Jonathan Taylor now is coming in here and he's getting some receptions as well, so that is just even adding to his upside at this stage too. So I'm all on board with you here, Jeremiah, as well. Anybody else got anything to add to Jonathan Taylor's situation?
Well, I mean, it's always important to make sure that you find you find out the right hole when you're looking at where he's at in his career. Always finding the right hole when we're talking about Jonathan Taylor.
Of course.
Hey,
holes are the best.
Asset.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Schultzy, I got a nice probe for you. Let's feel that hole. All right. So Emeka Buka, he's had a historic rookie start, and he sets him apart in Dynasty right now in this rookie class. So he's quickly proving why Dynasty managers were excited about him coming into the NFL draft, me being one of them. I had a bold take headed into this season that he'd finish in the top 15 at the wide receiver position, and now he's exceeding my expectations even. And this player, he's hit 20 plus catches, 400 plus yards, 5 touchdowns this early, 5 games in. He's a wide receiver 1 without a doubt, and his week 5 performance against Seattle was a showcase of Ibuka's advanced route running, his high football IQ, and his big playability. 7 catches, 163 yards and a touchdown in a tight 38-35 win. What a game. What a storyline. Now, Schultzy, this historic rookie production, quick rise, Now he's Tampa's clear wide receiver 1. Dynasty managers are buzzing. Personally, I believe he's already a top 10 dynasty wide receiver. Do you share that view? How sustainable do you see his role and his scoring upside as defense begin to game plan for him? What's going on with him?
Top 10, I can get on board with that in dynasty rankings here. I don't see any reason why that shouldn't be the case. I mean, look, the big concern here when we were entering this was, hey, they still got Evans, they still got Godwin, but due to injuries, this guy has been thrust into a top 2 spot all season. And so defenses have been playing him as a top guy, and he's still doing this. Now, the touchdown stuff might cool off a little bit, but like, the thing that it doesn't concern me is the usage and the volume. I mean, 6th in air yards, 9th in route participation, 2nd in deep targets, 9th in yak, 11th in yards per route run, 6th in fantasy points per route run. So like, the usage is great. The volume's good. He's performing. He's getting deep targets. He's getting yak. Like, what more does this dude have to do? So yeah, dude, I'm on board for top 10. Absolutely. Now, like I said, sustainability, the role. Yeah, this is sustainable. Like, they drafted this guy with the long-term view of him being a top dude. And like I said, he gets pushed into being a top guy for this team right away off the bat and handles it fine. So why won't this role continue? Why can't he continue to grow? Like I said, the touchdown thing may be a little hard to depend on. 5 in 5 games is pretty nuts. Like, I mean, we saw Jamar Chase go crazy last year, but like, that's just such a rare thing to put those kinds of touchdown numbers up year in and year out. Would I classify him as a buy high candidate? I mean, to an extent, yeah, I'm totally willing to pay for this guy. But when I looked up the trade database on him, this is a little bit out of control. All right, so I see a package with 3 first-round picks, George Pickens and Bashal Tutin for Emeka Egbuka alone. I see a package with 3 first, a second, a third, Cooper Kupp and Jalen Waddle for Emeka Egbuka alone. Like, some of these prices are outrageous. So if the manager's holding him is going to go up to Dynasty Daddy and say, look, this is what's been traded, I'm out. Now you see some trades here for 2 first-round picks straight up. Oh, I'm totally in there, right? You see one, I saw him for Malik Neighbors straight up. I saw that exact trade with a 2nd-round pick on both sides. Emeka in a second, I saw Neighbors in a second. So this is really all over the place, and I think it's really going to be dependent on the guy who's holding him here. And that's a little bit of a cop-out answer, but the trade database is a little all over the place. So if I got a guy who is going to look at this and say, hey, someone got 2 firsts, a second, and Olave, I don't know if I'm trying to go that far. But if I can get somewhere in the ballpark of just a couple firsts and an add-on player on top of that, oh, I'm so in.
Yeah, he's an asset that is it's hard to predict the trajectory here, because when you consider his start, there's only a handful of wide receivers that have ever started the gate the way that Egbuka has. Jamar Chase being one of them, Justin Jefferson being another, and Randy Moss. So like, this is pretty exclusive territory here. So it's hard not to, be on board with that when you think about the landscape of that wide receiver room next year, what it looks like without potentially Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So this is a Jalen McMillan and Emeka Egbuka show next year, I think. And Egbuka is just going to be skyrocketing, especially if Baker's playing at the level he can continue to play at. So I'm all in on Egbuka. I've been on him for a while. So yeah, this is a good situation. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on Chev. What do you think? Okay, good. Coach,
I was just gonna say, I'm teasing because he's my stock up, so I'm teasing him for later. So we'll get Chev's opinion.
Chev,
I mean, he was my wide receiver too throughout the process. He landed in a situation with guys that we viewed as generational talents, or just really highly touted receivers that panned out and ended up being elite talents in the NFL. So now him getting his own dance stage to shine on and dance on, This is just what he's always been. It's just now he's the main attraction instead of being, he gets to be Michael Jackson instead of Tito Jackson now, and you see the results. So, yeah, really excited for Emeka Egbuka.
I think Joe Jonas is a more timely.
All right, bigz. I'm going to talk about another one of your guys, and I know you're excited to talk about this guy, and I put him on the sheet just for you because Drake Maye and his clutch leadership, he's been propelling the Patriots, and he did it this week against the Bills. He's got such great upside here, and his second year is off to a strong start. Great performances. He's in the top 5 right now at the quarterback position. He's showing growth, leadership, and what a great situation he's in right now there, bigz. Finding a clutch wide receiver and a good chemistry with Stephon Diggs now. You've been high on Drake Maye all along. He's arrived based on his recent performance and growing rapport with Diggs. Can Maye be considered an auto start every week, a bona fide QB1, or is it still too early to trust him at that level? What's your take on his consistency, his upside moving forward in dynasty formats?
Did you say groin rapport or growing rapport?
Either way, I want to know your analysis on both, on his growing rapport and his growing.
Okay.
I was going to say, why not both?
As you pointed out, I've been high on Drake Maye all along, so I may not be the best person to ask this question. Is it still too early to trust him? Absolutely not. We have a nice little collection of us called the Grindberg Invitational. Schultzy is leading that league in points for. I do want to point out, though, that regardless of my record, I'm only behind Schultzy in max PF by 12 points. So yeah, you may have 100 more points than the next guy in actual like converted points, but I'm right there, buddy. Also, to our previous Jonathan Taylor, I got him in the 4th round in this league. So he was my 3rd running back taken. But my first quarterback taken, I took in the 2nd round, and that was Drake Maye. So obviously I'm super high on this guy. I paired him with Jackson Dart all over the place this year in startup drafts, and he's my 3rd most owned quarterback on Sleeper amongst all of my leagues. I love Drake Maye. The book on him that I wrote coming out of North Carolina, I called him Josh Allen Light. He's Diet Josh Allen. He fits that profile. One of the things that will always stick with me during the draft process that year was me pointing out that his sophomore year at University of North Carolina, he had more rushing yards and more passing yards and more touchdowns than Josh Allen, and that was in a college schedule. That was in fewer games than Josh Allen played. Now, granted, Josh was doing it against NFL competition. Drake Maye was doing it against the ACC. That being said, I profiled him as that type of quarterback. And last year in his rookie season, he showed he's got the feet, he's got the upside. He's going to give you that cheat code every week with his ability to scramble, the fact that they can design run plays for him. He's very athletic and he's got a big arm. The coaching staff is handling him just as they should right now. They went out and got him a primary target in Stephon Diggs. Hunter Henry, when he's healthy and on the field, is a good big target for him. They've got some other peripheral. Demario Pop Douglas is still there. They have some other pieces that he can throw to. He hasn't utilized Travion Henderson in the passing game the way that we thought that he would, but that's coming. So This is not the floor for Drake Maye. This is he is great now, and he's only going to get better.
Yeah, 19.7 fantasy points per game is ranked 10th, and he's just kind of hitting his stride. We saw last week, here's an example, the 2 Rhamondre Stevenson touchdowns were banged in inside the 10-yard line. That's normally an opportunity for Drake Maye to rush it in, or in the future will be when he's Drake Maye light, or the pass. So that's a swing of maybe 12, 13 points that weren't there for him. 5th in yards per attempt, 9th in adjusted yards per attempt, 1st in expected points added at the quarterback position with 81. I'm all aboard there with you on Drake Maye. So I love what you're saying. and I see it just formulating, and their schedule is beautiful now and down the stretch. So you love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking good. We're on them. The rushing upside's there. And what else is here is Big Chev. Now, Chev, let's talk about Deebo Samuel, the veteran workhorse and dynasty cornerstone. But, Washington's been injured. So what's going on with Deebo? He's been a cornerstone piece for dynasty managers for a number of years now, and he has entered Washington's offense, and he's had a lot of tough matchups despite battling, a heel issue in practice. He's led the team with receptions, yards, and touchdowns, and McLaurin is set to return here, and Mike Cloud is wide receiver one status now. Beyond his receiving stats, his special teams can't be overlooked. So he's all over the field now. Is that going to wear him down? What is happening with Deebo Samuel? He's clearly reemerged as a top-tier fantasy asset in 2025, leading, Washington, like I said, in targets, touchdowns, and yards. And how do you view him as a long-term a dynasty asset value given his age and heavy usage? Is Deebo now back to a reliable wide receiver one for dynasty rosters moving forward, short term, at least this season? How are you handling Deebo now with his uptick in dynasty value with his comeback in 2025?
First and foremost, I want to say that we have to put some respect back on Deebo's name. So, hey, Fat Deebo is now Ozempic Taekwon Samuel Senior. Okay, so Ozempic Taekwon Samuel Senior has come out of the gates red hot. He's got his stomach out in pictures and stuff, and he's been the best player for the best and most consistent player for the Washington Commanders throughout this early season. No $100 million Terry McLaurin, no problem. Deebo's doing it all, and Deebo's going to continue to do it all until we hit that point in the season where he's obliged to miss. This is somewhere in his contract with his body. He's going to miss 2 or 3 games here, and then you really start to feel the effect of what a player like Ozempic Taekwon Samuel Sr., this is what he actually brings to a team. So he's been lights out, and that's great. We knew that the truth was somewhere between what he put on tape last year and what he put on tape in between, every single year that he was healthy before that. So while I do think that he's a top 15 asset in, this season, and he's going to score and he's going to be a top 15 wide receiver in points per game, I can't make more than a 1-year bet on Deebo at any point in time at this point in his career. So I would try to sell if I was anything short of a bona fide contender. I'd try to sell and liquidate as quickly as I can, because you don't know what the scenario is going to look like for more than one season at a time for Deebo Samuel.
I absolutely feel that point, because every year I go into it, okay, this year I'm out on Deebo, this year I'm out on Deebo. 2025, I was in on Deebo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen next year.
R.I.P. Fat Deebo. We had a good run.
Yeah, I mean, like she says, as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be a dominant force, especially in that run game as well. He adds that aspect as well. So, all right, folks, let's get into our stock up, stock down, and we'll start with our stock ups. And Schultzy, you are up on the plate first, so let's hear about your stock up.
Hey, so this one is going to be Bill himself, Jakobi Krosky-Merritt. And, this was a dude, some people would have drafted him in the 5th round of the rookie draft, so you're loving that right now. And then if you didn't, you hopefully snagged him early on waivers. And after a couple of games, he had a nice week 1 with 80 yards and a touchdown, and it kind of cooled off, and people wrote this dude off. Like, we had one solid game in week 1, and then he struggled for a few and didn't get so many carries. And literally everyone was just like, all right, well, he's done. Like, we're done with him. And that felt really silly, because you paid nothing for this guy. So just ride this one out. Like, the only way this is going is up. And that's what's happening. We just saw him tick up to 14 carries and saw his most snaps this past week, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, he's not going to rush for 100 and a touchdown every week. But for the price of this guy, you don't need that. And look, the stock is up for that reason alone. Like the usage is coming, and he's going to score points. He's tied to a running quarterback in Daniels, and if this trend continues, like this is going to be a real thing for at least the rest of this season. I know Cliff Kingsbury has talked about like the stuff that when he doesn't have the ball is like why his snap share is a little bit down right now, like pass protection and things like that. So if that develops, the snaps are going to tick up even higher. So stock up for JCM if you can still get him for pretty cheap, which is probably unlikely at this point after last week. But the stonks are definitely up.
Stonks.
Chev? You want to weigh in, because I think you were one of the first people that I know of that got us in on the JCM train, and it was early May, and some guys are talking about it in June. But let's give Chev his flowers here, because he was one of the first people that got us on JCM early in the train, and I was able to get on in that as well, and I tailed you a little bit, and was able to get a lot of JCM shares, and it's helped me out a lot. So talk a little bit about your boy and what you see from him moving forward in that Commander's offense.
This has been the perfect run out for what we want for a guy like JCM. We get, he plays so well that they want to trade Brian Robinson Jr. Then Austin Eckler's Achilles explodes. Hey, prayers up, but hey, you gotta move out of the way, bro. We got some real juice behind you. All right, and then they do this nonsense where they, we're working in Chris Rodriguez. Jeremy McNichols scores a 70-yard touchdown. Bro, get off my lawn with that nonsense. Give Bill the ball and let him ball. All right, let's stop messing around. All right. And you see, the very first time that you give him over 50% of the snaps, guess what happens? He's daggone FedEx Ground Player of the Week. And there's just more to come. So Jacob Gibbs, who is one of the sharpest minds in this entire deal, he was, going back and forth doing some nerd stuff with another statistician dude. And they were talking about the first 5 games for JCM and the first 5 games for Bucky Irving. And you know that JCM's first 5 games are more. He produced more fantasy points, more yards, more receptions, more touchdowns than Bucky Irving. Could it be that I learned from the error of my ways and found 2025 Bucky Irving? I don't know. We'll see. But hey, it looks like it. But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that that's what happened. But, that just might be what's happening.
Hey, we're either looking at Bucky Irving or James Robinson.
Hey, listen, both of those were good in their rookie year. So I'll take
absolutely
whatever we get.
He may come into a factor in the Grindberg Invitational when push comes to shove. So we'll keep a close monitor on that one.
Oh,
all right.
Did get him in the Grindberg Invitation, you bastard.
Oh, that was in April, so maybe I was on him maybe a little bit around the same time you were there, Chev. So let's go.
You bastard.
All right.
Anybody who got him pre-Brian Robinson trade lucked into it.
Luck.
Well, man.
Oh man, I got a lot of bags packed, baby. And
I have so much Jakobi Crosby-Barrett is I struggle to open doors because of all the Jakobi Crosby-Barrett I've got tied to my hands. I just don't have him in this league. That makes me really sad.
I would say sprinkle if you have a huge portfolio, you have opportunity to liquidate some. And, you're not going to get Emeka Egbuka prices, but you're going to get insane value from where you invested if it was round 4, round 5 in a rookie draft to what you can get today. I saw a re-roll of a rookie mock draft as it sits now, and I saw Jakobi Crosby-Barrett go at the 110. Somebody put him up at the 110. Not sacrilegious. And think of that. Couple rounds, rookie value gained right there, and still rolling. Now let's talk about Emeka Egbuka stock up. Schultzy, you were talking about it before. I didn't want to. I just wanted to tease it a little bit later because I just want to continue what you were talking about. Wide receiver 3, 15.1 fantasy points per game for Egbuka, 7.6 targets per game. So it would be nice to get a little more volume there. The haters say Emeka Egbuka cannot separate He does have less than 1 yard of separation. This is from NFL Pro on 42% of his routes. So that's the fourth highest of receivers with 75 routes. Not a problem to me at all. Ibuka, the third player to record 425 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns in his first 5 games played. The other two to do that are Jamar Chase and Randy Moss. Ibuka, third in an explosive rating for receptions over 20 yards. Ibuka has the juice. On Dynasty Daddy, you had talked about Schultzy, some of the trades. You had mentioned Neighbors. The one that I found that really stood out to me was Emeka Ibuka for Malik Neighbors and Kendre Miller. To me, that just acknowledges the time value of money. Emeka Ibuka is putting up the epic stats to make this that it's not a disrespectful trade. So maybe you're rebuilding and you take Neighbors and Kendre, and then you want to win, you want to play right now, you love the time value of money principle, you get yourself some Emeka Ibuka. I love that deal on both sides. It's not sacrilegious. Things change quick. If you're not early, you're late. Just see Jakobi Krosky Merritt. At the same time, if you're not reactionary in the moment enough, then you're really going to miss the boat. So get your shares of Emeka Ibuka if you can. Chances are a lot of people in your leagues, the higher inflation prices that Schultzy was talking about is more of what you're going to get. So you probably did miss. So I would encourage you, when we have our C2C episodes, when we have our all the dynasties starting in January, really lock in, tap in, because we talk about these gems all throughout the entire process. And we've been really high. I've been really high on Emeka Ibuka as the DD Revolution PPR run out. I've been talking about how Ibuka could be the JSN rookie year that we wanted. And of course, their archetype, their play style, very similar. And you have the Ohio State camaraderie there. You'll love to see it. And neck, JSN and Emeka Ibuka in dynasty rankings, just soaring up receiver board. So you love to see it. Emeka Ibuka is my stock up.
Love the Ibuka. Love.
All of my best ball teams in the money right now have Ibuka.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's my highest. He's my highest.
Oh, dude, where was he going in best ball? Like,
okay,
oh,
he went. Ready for this? He was going in round 9, and then it went 8, 7, 6, 5. It was rocket ship up. I've got him at every price point. Probably for weight in draft capital, he's probably my highest rostered player. Because I have a ton of Jakobi Krosky Merritt, but those are way later. For weight, in what I had 22, 23% Emeka Ibuka. And that is the firm price from round 9 all the way up into 6 and 5. And then, of course, in redraft, got him in Dynasty. Man, life's good when you have Emeka Ibuka.
There you go.
as Rob Gronkowski said, Mecca, bug boo.
Yeah.
Hey, bugaboo. All right,
Big
bugaboo.
boo.
All right, bigz. Who's your stock out, buddy?
My stock up is kind of it's a weird one. I'm using the stock up in terms of go out and get him now because he's about to pop off, and I'm talking about Jordan Mason. So I believe the Vikings have a bye this week, but one of the things about Jordan Mason is that he was a new guy on a different team, joined the Vikings, and first game against Chicago wasn't really utilized that much. He had a 54% snap share, 15 carries, 1 target. Over the last 4 weeks, though, he's had some pretty tough matchups. Atlanta is a bad matchup against running backs. Pittsburgh is a bad matchup against running backs, and Cleveland is a bad matchup. So he's sitting right around RB21 at the moment. Now, looking at his schedule going forward, he's got Philly, which is a good matchup, Chargers in Detroit, Green with Baltimore and Chicago, Seattle, and then in the fantasy playoffs, he's got Dallas and the New York Giants. So this is a guy who late season is going to be a championship winner for you in the fantasy playoffs. He has been actually pretty good. We look at his he has 69 attempts, 323 yards, 4.68 yards per carry, but his target share in the passing game has gone up the last few weeks. He had 3, 3, and 4 targets in the last 4 weeks. So you want to see those targets from a running back. Jordan Mason is going to be getting them. He has 7 explosive plays. He had his 10% of his runs are explosive runs. He's got 57.98% team rush share. That's only going to go higher once they get into good matchups where they can control the game on the ground. 85% of red zone rush share. That means that when they get down into the red zone, they're inside the 20. The team is looking for Jordan Mason to do stuff, and he's got 3 rushing touchdowns to go, like, because of that. He's handling nearly 60% of the team's rushing attempts through 5 games, and his efficiency metrics are really good. He's got a good carry success rate of 48%. And yards after contact, 71.2% of his total rushing yards coming after being hit. He has a powerful running style. His red zone usage is through the roof as far as the Vikings are concerned. And go stock up on Jordan Mason right now. Get as many shares as you can, because with a bye week coming, owners aren't going to see it. On Monday, when you start throwing trades out, they're going off Jordan Mason didn't add anything this week. So it's a perfect time to go buy.
You're not worried about any Aaron Jones coming back after his injury?
No.
There you go. All right. None at all. All right. Let's move on to Chev. Your stock up, my friend.
It's going to be one Tetairoa, the big pineapple McMillan. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the show has been completely stolen by Emeka Egbuka, but quietly in Carolina, one of the things that they did get right is drafting Tetairoa McMillan 8th overall. And all he's done is just basically, command at least 8 targets in every single game, be around 60 yards in every single game, and provide explosive plays and just bail Bryce Young out every single game. And they're not even doing easy button stuff. Like, this is the stuff that, he's doing all the things that you wish you saw Marvin Harrison do on a week in, week out basis. And it's like nobody cares. Like, he's a literal superstar, and he's doing it every single week against Christian Gonzalez and every corner, every stud corner that you could imagine. He's thrived against. And it's only going to get better if they actually start making, they're not manufacturing him targets. It's just he gets open and he gets the ball. So if they start force feeding him targets, giving him opportunities to just get the ball on smoke screens and catch and run, by God, if they just use him a little bit like Cincinnati uses Jamar Chase, he could have 110 receptions and 1,400 yards as a rookie. This is how good Tetairoa McMillan is. So, even though the box score hasn't quite shown it yet, and Emeka Egbuka is the darling of everyone, the darling of the hour because he has 5 touchdowns, Tetairoa McMillan has lived up to the hype in real life, and it's only a matter of time before fantasy aligns with that. So that's why he's my stock up.
The thing with him, man, that drove me nuts about this offseason was prospect fatigue was so real with him. We watched him just dominate at Arizona for so long, and people just got bored, and they just decided to start making crap up. Well, he doesn't like to watch film, and you name it. People just said it about this guy, and it was so stupid. One of the bold takes we had on our redraft shows, I said he's going to be top 15, and I'm the noted Bryce Young hater, and I still think that because I thought he was that good, similar to Malik Neighbors on the Giants last year. Yeah, this guy is crazy good.
Yep. He's a stock up for sure. All right. Well, I got to
stock down Jalen Hurts. My God.
Yeah.
My God.
I just saw it.
Yeah, that's why I grabbed my face in the middle of you talking. It wasn't because I didn't agree with what you were saying. I just saw him miss.
That was
Smith on a 70, 80-yard touchdown, whatever that
I have Devontae and Scott Fishbowl too, so that sucks.
I know.
All right. Well,
sorry,
who I got in the Scott Fishbowl? That's Puka Nacua, and he's a stock up for me. Dang. No, he's to me, he's the wide receiver 1 now. I mean, consistency, volume, explosiveness. He's a set and forget it kind of guy. He's a type of player you want on your dynasty managers to build around for years. Before the summer, he hovered around the wide receiver 5 rankings in dynasty, viewed as an elite but top tier, sharing with Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson. Now he's probably there with himself, Puka Nacua, wide receiver 1 right now. It looks like in dynasty. It's incredible to see his target volume, what he's pacing for right now, 2,000 yards. The only receiver in NFL history that has cracked 1,900 yards was Calvin Johnson, and this matchup this week could even put him above that pace moving forward. So I'm looking at Puka Nacua as a stock up, even though his price is pretty hefty. It's going to be hard to prime away, but his wide receiver 5 headed in the year, now he's more like wide receiver 3 or higher.
He's pacing like 150 catches.
It's incredible. And his touchdown outside, yards after the catch, everything you could want right now is there for him. And unless an injury happens, which is, part of his roll call as well. But you never know.
Yeah, you could argue he's dynasty wide receiver 1, and it's okay. I saw him keep trade cut. He's reached that threshold. It's not disrespectful, so it's fair. It's reasonable. Yeah.
Chev?
Joe Burrow's healthy. You're telling me that you're going to click the button to select Puka Nacua over Jamar Chase?
No.
I want this on the record right now.
No.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But
Cool.
it's not disrespectful as far as, hey, they're in the same ballpark.
Guys. That would have been absolute lunacy 30 days ago. Like, let's.
I don't know if it was lunacy. I mean,
there is Michael. There is no world where you're on the clock.
No. Certainly not. I wouldn't say it's lunacy
on the board, and before you knew Joe Burrow was hurt, where you would click the button on Puka Nacua, guys. Like, let's be serious.
I think I'm with Chev here. If we saw someone take him 101, you're gonna say you're a lunatic.
Yeah, like Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Like 30 days ago, there is zero chance that if any of those guys was on the board, you're taking Puka Nacua over them.
Well, this is correct, but the circumstances have changed.
Circumstances have
for various reasons
have slightly changed. There is nobody's multi-year outlook has changed, and this is a dynasty show. So I wanted to point this out because I do not think that it is correct to refer to Puka Nacua as the dynasty wide receiver 1, and that's just my personal opinion. I have not. He is still like the number 2 cornerstone dynasty asset wide receiver for me, but I cannot, have not, will not, do not, will not, shan't not.
I knew Shant was coming. All right.
I'm not moving him to dynasty wide receiver 1 overall. I can't do it.
I'm not going to call him dad.
Not even if there's a 5.
Well, our one of our leaders on the Indroppables Network posted today that it's Puka as a dynasty wide receiver 1. Jax went on there, so maybe we'll get him on the show and have a Chev and Jax battle to talk about that one through a little bit more.
I still don't think if we were to draft today, I would pick him over Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson. I don't think I could do it.
Would you take him over CD?
I don't think so. I think he would be my number 5. And that, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. 5 is strong.
I try and bring brevity among my lunacy. And I try and remind people, especially on the fantasy forecast, we're dealing with a 4 or 5 week sample right now. Guys can go off. Guys can have, short periods where they emerge, whatever. But that's what we're dealing with. Yes, Puka's great, but over the course of a career, I don't know if I pull the trigger on him over any of those 4 other guys. And there are other McMillan and Ibuka are now inserting themselves in the conversation. Jackson Smith and Jigba as well. He's absolutely a top 10 wide receiver, and that has to be taken into consideration. But I don't think today, given what we know just from this season, I'm still pulling the trigger at number 1 or 2.
All right. Well, we can move on now, guys, because we could probably talk about that on another show for a little bit more in depth. So we'll hold that off. Let's get to our stock downs. Schultzy, let's start you off. Let's pound through these guys.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about pounding. This guy is used to bringing the pounding, and that's Derrick Henry, man. And the stock is down, unfortunately. Look, the guy we saw last year, I don't think this is necessarily a Derrick Henry problem, but the guy we saw last year is just not what we're seeing this year. We did see it week 1 with a huge game, like 170 yards and 2 touchdowns or whatever, but it just hasn't really come to life since then. Even in the next 2 weeks when Lamar was perfectly healthy, it just wasn't coming together. And now Lamar's hurt, and I mean, we could be missed. He's going to miss this week probably. Then they got to bye, so it's dicey after that. But like, there's still a world where there's some time after that. But even when Lamar comes back, this defense stinks, man. They lost Madubuike up the middle, and that is going to crush this defense. They're going to get pounded on the ground, and they're just giving up points like crazy. And I think that's a big factor in why Derrick Henry stock is down as well, because we're used to the Ravens kicking the crap out of people and then just running down their throat the second half. And when a team with Derrick Henry has the lead, like, you're cooked. So I just don't see that being the game script for the Ravens moving forward. And yeah, man, you likely paid in a redraft, you paid up pretty good, or not redraft, but a startup. Like, you paid pretty good to get this guy, and it just isn't happening because you're expecting 12 touchdowns, 1,500 yards, and we just aren't going to get there.
Mike, are you eating snacks on the pod? Are you eating snacks? What is
Yes,
going on?
I was
in
eating
Canada?
snacks and I had to mute myself because I'm eating crunchy Cheetos.
What is happening?
Or
Hold on, what?
croissant.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
What the heck was I just looking at?
All right, my stock down is Mike for eating snacks on the. You can't. We got like 10 minutes. You can't wait. Okay.
Stock down Canadian Cheetos.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Let's hear your stock down.
Hey, it is AJ Brown. Brown was a sell for me all off season in Dynasty, just for the fact that we could find another trough or a valley of opportunity just for the run out based on the offense. That is the Philadelphia Eagles. We just saw Jalen Hurts overthrow Devonta Smith brutally. You could just swap out that for AJ Brown. It is a tough scene. AJ Brown right now is the wide receiver 50 in fantasy football, 5.1 fantasy points per game. He's having a decent night tonight, so maybe when people are listening, they will have seen a better performance from AJ Brown. But a career low for AJ Brown, 1.3 yards per route run. His second lowest target share of his career this season at 24.5%. AJ Brown on routes run. Brown has his lowest catch percentage of his career as well, 52.8%. So his average separation, also his lowest at 1.7 yards. The next 2 or 3 weeks, which includes tonight, the Giants, they get the Giants. So hopefully there's a get right spot opportunity there. On Dynasty Daddy, though, there is one trade that I do love. So there is stock down. But eventually I want to buy AJ Brown again. I think the more this happens, the better it'll be for you to be able to buy him, because it's going to be difficult to sell. But I see a deal on Dynasty Daddy. AJ Brown for Alec Amaner in a 26-second. Give me AJ Brown. I love Alec Amaner, but I think that's the perfect type of, carrot to put right in front of somebody. Like, hey, look, shiny toy, come get Alec Amaner. Don't you love him? People see him as the wide receiver 1 possibly for the Titans next year. Keep in mind they'll draft a receiver next year. But yeah, give me AJ Brown in that deal. But it is stock down. But stock down isn't always bad because it just means a depressed price.
Absolutely. All right,
the
big.
last two, the Cam Scatabo and Jackson Dart rushes for first down, and this touchdown right now for Scatabo, like it's a new era. It's a new era. This is crazy. That Jackson Dart run he's out Hertz, just like on Monday night, Mahomes got out Mahomesed by Trevor
Yes,
Lawrence.
let's go.
All right,
Duval.
bigz. Let's hear
And
about your
I do
stock
want to
down.
say that although I missed the show 2 weeks ago, my stock ups the last couple shows have been Jackson Dart and Cam Scatabo. Okay. All right, my stock down I'm going to get to is Drake London. Right now is a perfect buying opportunity for Drake London. He's had a rough go to start. He's averaging about 9 targets a game, which I mean that's what we want to see. But he's sitting at wide receiver 33 when we all were drafting him to be a top 12 wide receiver. He has one game over 13 points. He scored 25 points in the last game against Washington. But when we look at the schedule coming up, he's got Buffalo, San Francisco, Miami. Those are kind of mid-range matchups. He's got the Patriots and the Colts. That's pretty good. Then Carolina is a shutdown. Then Orange against New Orleans, New York Jets, Seattle, Tampa Bay. He's had some tough matchups already, Minnesota and Carolina. He scored 15 points combined in those 2 games. But there's something wrong in Atlanta, and it's not Drake London. His EPA per target right now is negative 0.04. He's only got a 54% success rate. He's lining up in the slot 30% of the time. He has 3 red zone targets total over the 4 games that he's played. There's something wrong with the Atlanta offense. There's something wrong with the Atlanta quarterback situation, and it's only hurting Drake London. But we know the talent level. So as bad as he's been, as piss poor as he's been, right now is a good time to go out and buy Drake London in fantasy because there are better days ahead.
You want to know what's wrong with the Falcons offense? They don't give the ball to Bijan enough.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they have a broken Penix.
That would have been a good one too.
That's a good one.
No, but for real, you watch him. It's frustrating as hell, man. Because it's just like give the ball to Bijan. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Chev, let's hear it.
They're truly ruining what was supposed to be like the emergence, like the like that one season of Bijan where it's like, oh yes, this is what it's like to have one of those like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley types at running back. And they're just screwing it up.
Well, let's look at the Falcons on balance over the last 4 years. They ruined Tyler Algier. They're ruining Bijan Robinson. They ruined Kyle Pitts. They're ruining Drake London. Like, it's just a dead zone for fantasy players. Yeah,
it's not great. So my stock down is going to be Bryce Young. Yep. Y'all want to ask me some questions about that?
Yeah, when was the stock ever up?
I mean, it was up at one point, and then
we had a good run.
It was, we had like a good 3 quarters against the Cardinals.
It was never over 6 feet.
It's never going to be over 6 feet. All right. So, it was good for maybe a quarter and a half, and the Panthers are going to throw the ball a bunch in the second half, but then like they go and get competitive in games like this game against the Dolphins, where they were just like, look, we have to take the ball out of Bryce Young's hands. And, I know Tetairoa McMillan is cooking, and we could just do this whole legacy game thing, but we actually have a chance to win. That's what's messing everything up. Like, they need to just go ahead and admit defeat and then just chase records with Tetairoa McMillan. That's what we need for fantasy. Okay. Chuba Hubbard's getting all his points in garbage time. Okay. And all those points still count the same, whether they came in garbage time or not, guys. Let's not talk about ethical fantasy points. Okay. They all count the same. So we need the Panthers to be in more situations where they're getting their backs beat in, and then we can get some more fantasy points for everybody. All right. This has been a Chef GPT public service announcement. You're welcome.
The Bryce Young experience is he's gonna break you with these turnovers. He's gonna make like 3 or 4 throws that you're like, oh, okay, and then he's still gonna finish with 6 yards per attempt.
We were having
Yep.
the same conversation on the forecast about the Jets. They're garbage time points, but they're points nonetheless.
They are.
Exactly.
All right, my stock down is a pretty quick one here, and it's just because we're not sure if he's going to even play this year, and that's Brandon Aiyuk. He was, set to come back maybe week 6, and that's about now, and he's not even practicing yet. So as far as fantasy goes, coming back from, back-to-back surgeries here, he's got a couple major knee injuries that he's definitely not recovering as well as he should have been. So I don't even know if he makes it into the lineup at all this year, and if he does, I don't think he's going to be beneficial for fantasy managers. And moving forward, certainly a stock down for people that have him, and I'm not sure what to do with him at this stage because he's in limbo. So yeah, stock down.
I totally forgot a stock up. It was my intent, but then when I got into the page, I completely forgot. California Golden Bear legend Jake Tongas, tight end of the San Francisco 49ers. Guess who is tight end 8 right now, you guys? If there's one thing that we can count on from George Kittle, it's getting hurt every year. And Jake Tongas has emerged as a bad beast in that 49ers offense. Jake Tongas, stock up. Sorry about that.
Tongas. All right, folks. That is it for us for week 6 weekend warm-up on the Dynasty Pulse. Biggs, bring us home like you always do.
Can I just say George Kittle's played in 14 or more games in 7 of the last 8 years, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, just all I got.
He got hurt every year. All right. Go ahead and do all the call to action stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow us on Fantasy Sports Advice Network and on the Undroppables. Listen to us on the radio, 101.5, talking West Tennessee. And, go to the merch shop, buy our cool merch, and get a membership at fantasysportsadvice.com. All the things. We'll be back next week with more, and we hope you win.
Hope you win, folks.
Watch all our shows.
Watch our pace.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.